Among all the industrial sectors announced by the United Nations, we basically have them all, and they are all quite well developed. This allows us to manufacture and produce everything ourselves. In all global trade, our share exceeds 20%, whether in imports or exports. That is, the industrial chain and value chain. These reflect the completeness of our industrial structure, as well as our influence and contribution to the world economy, including the spillover of risks and value. All of these are equally important. These things are unprecedented in the history of all humanity. So I think it's like two people arm wrestling, going through a stress test. In fact, the past 3 to 4 years have been an extreme stress test, both sides arm wrestling, managing a stress test, testing each other's strength, a dialogue based on strength. This is a very apt description. So what truth has this revealed? It's not about you losing and me winning. I think both sides realize the need to compromise, and the world also needs us to get along. So, as you saw last week, people are talking about the relationship between China and the United States. It's the most important relationship in the world. The relationship between China and the United States actually determines the well-being of all humanity. Moreover, the two countries still need to communicate face-to-face to address issues, so we can look forward to both sides meeting and having more interactions at the APEC summit in November. I think this approach of competing without breaking off relations, where there is both rivalry and cooperation, can be called a competitive cooperative relationship. That's what I call it, a competitive cooperative relationship. A competitive cooperative relationship under extreme pressure requires not only competition but even more cooperation. Whether competition or cooperation takes precedence depends on the pressures both sides face at different times, as well as their policy agendas and key governance goals at various stages. This is a dynamic balance. So, for the whole society, for all of humanity, and for China, it is a process of returning to the path of a gentleman in society. Sometimes the pressure is greater, sometimes it's less, sometimes we lean a bit to the left, sometimes a bit to the right. But looking at it from a long-term perspective, we find that it is indeed a return to the path of the gentleman. So everyone can only lower their banners and muffle their drums, whether they like it or not. They have to sit down and seriously solve problems, and everyone has to compromise with each other, right? Politics is the art of the possible, and compromise is the highest form of art in negotiation. In fact, I have now become more optimistic,